Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video on the Top Cricket Academy YouTube channel. Back again in the office, indoors, even though it's quite nice outside, and we're back to coaching. It's another video again for you guys based around some kind of tactical side of the game. So of late, I've been getting back into a lot of one-to-one coaching and smaller group coaching as we've been allowed within the ECB regulations. And one of the main things that I've been working on with players is having a game plan around certain times of the game and certain strategies to certain bowlers, for example. And what I thought would be interesting is to share some of my thoughts with you guys at home and give you some of my ideas and some of the ideas that we use at Top Cricket Academy when we're looking to help inform players of how to take on different scenarios of the game. So we'll call this a little mini series of sorts where we'll talk through different scenarios and give you an idea of sort of game plans that we're working on. And in this episode today, we're going to look at phase one of the game, or let's call it PowerPlay 1. So the mentality across lots of players that I work with, so a lot of them will be white ball players that will be playing predominantly 20 over and 50 over cricket. And back in the day, when a lot of it was longer format, you'd be playing lots more test matches and 2-day games, 3-day games. The mentality would be different. But I wanted to sort of talk about a bit how the game's changing. And I'm going to insert some clips as we go and talk through what sort of things we were talking about and what we're working on with these players as some practical examples. So whenever I work with players in PowerPlay 1 or at the start of a game, one of the main things that I'm telling people is know your game and don't change and don't do anything different depending on what you would normally do in a net situation. So it's quite common in the past where we say to players, go out there, take a couple of balls to get your eye in. I've heard people say don't play any cross-batted shots in the first 10 overs, or don't play any cross-batted shots at the start of your innings. Be watchful. You don't want to look to attack too early. To me, it's a case of it's knowing yourself and knowing how you play. The word positive thrown around a lot in cricket, and I'm a massive fan of playing positive cricket, positive and fearless cricket. Obviously, one of the easiest things to say to players is don't fear failure, don't fear getting out. But actually, it's difficult because we as parents and coaches and players, we say this, but then it's very easy not to get frustrated with someone. But it's about having patience. And for me, approaching the start of a game, you need this. So it's about making sure you get with a positive mentality where you're thinking about what you do well and your strengths rather than reflecting on potential areas of weakness that could cost. The early battles with players is about looking to establish yourself earlier as being in control. And control can be exhibited in lots of different ways. So most commonly people think about control is about controlling a bowler by getting on top of them, hitting boundaries maybe. But for me, it's about having strong positive movements and positions and making really good decisions. I think my philosophy as a coach comes down to something very simple, especially with batting, and that's controlling the controllables. What can you as players actually influence? What we can influence is our movements and our decisions. Everything else is dictated to us by the length of the ball that's being bowled or the field that's been set. But fundamentally, as a player, I want to know that going out to bat, am I in strong positions? Have I made good decisions? And in some of the clips that we'll insert, you'll see examples of players being slightly indecisive. Their first movement's quite weak, so they're setting themselves up quite poorly. And again, if you're controlling your controllables, you're setting yourself in good stead to build an innings and score runs. So coming on to PowerPlay 1, one of the key things about this stage of the game is that as a batter, you're always thinking, I'm going to set myself. I need to get myself ready to score big runs. And I need to take the time to get into my rhythm, which a lot of people do need to do. The bowler from ball one is also in the same boat. And a lot of the time, if you're premeditating that you're going to leave the first ball because I want to see what's happening. What happens if it's a loose ball? It sends just as good a message if you can attack that first ball, if it's only if it's in your area, or if you're being positive about playing it. Even if you get to the ball, bang, nice big stride, and you're positive in defence, it sends a message to the bowler that you're in control. And this video is going to be mainly around batting in phase 1, because it's not so much. I'll do another video where I cover bowling in phase 1, and even maybe talk about fielding in phase 1 or PowerPlay 1. So yeah, we talk about sort of being positive in our decisions, positive in our movements. And I think this is shown through players that feel comfortable at the crease. They set themselves up when they're batting. They set themselves to score big runs by playing their natural game. One thing that I would categorise it as is you want to dominate the channel. So bowlers are taught traditionally running top of off, bowling along a line that you can control. So you normally have, traditionally you'd have a slip in, you probably have quite a heavy offside field to most batters when you're bowling in that first over, or a power play one, because you're looking to try and challenge them and trying to get the new ball to swing. Now batters, our job in that situation is to dominate the channel, make good decisions on that channel. Make sure you don't let the bowler settle. Don't let them bowl at you. You want them to bowl to you, not at you. And that's very fundamentally, it's very easy to do. It's about being, like I say, being decisive, leaving positively, but also just as positive in defence and attack. One of the key things for me, and I'll insert some clips here that will show it, is when players get stuck on the leg stump. So their back foot works as an anchor. And if it sets on leg stump and plants on leg stump, your front foot will start to chase the ball. And when your front foot starts moving towards the ball, not only do you close yourself off to being able to open up a wider scoring area, and you limit your options in terms of where you can hit the ball, but also you're brought into playing more because your head is stuck in the middle between your back foot and your front foot. And what happens here is it leads to a lot more indecision, and that's along that channel. So again, I'll show you through the clips here. Player plants his foot on leg stump, and if he doesn't move his foot, then he's forced into having to leave the ball. That, or he will play a loose stroke, just purely because he's not in a strong enough position. But ultimately, if he does move his front foot towards the ball, then they're in a position where they can only drive. You aren't able to bring your hands around and attack the ball through straight or leg side. This is a key thing for opening batsmen and people batting in the power play one, to be able to transition that weight, get that anchor onto the off stump, or at least onto middle and off. Because as long as you're strong on your legs, it allows you to make better decisions and dominate that channel. And that's the situation where so many batters early on, they may not get out to it, but bowlers can build pressure early by just dominating that channel. Now, you'll get good balls. I think this is one of the key things about all phases of the game. Don't worry about getting good balls. Don't sit there thinking, I'm going to get a good one. Or don't sit there thinking, I've got to be wary of what the bowler does. Because in your mind, you can build it up and you can then make okay balls into good balls and good balls into amazing balls. Because your mentality is such, if I hit a good length, it's going to be an absolute jaffer. But ultimately, we can dominate that channel. We can dominate that length by having positive foot movement and positive decisions. And I think there's something that we can work on a lot more as power play one batters, is about dominating with our movements and our decisions. Again, I think one of the things you'll see from the clips that I'm inserting is players tend to be indecisive about what they want to do in that channel. And that's because players teach themselves to have too many shots. The biggest difference between batting and run scoring, and there is a difference in my mind. Again, I'm happy to engage with you guys in the comments if you disagree. Batting is the ability to play as many shots, is the ability to score in multiple areas. That's something that we train. We train ourselves as batters most commonly, which is in the nets, practicing technique. A lot of us will say something's wrong, so I'm going to change my grip, or I'm going to look at my bat lift, or I'm going to look at my feet. Ultimately, that's batting. Run scoring is training this to be decisive, training this to be patient. It comes down to the 3 Ds: decisive, determined, and disciplined. If you have all of those three things, you will set yourself up to score runs. Because ultimately, every time you walk out to bat, we all know we can do it because we do it in the nets. And if we're not doing it in the nets, we will train our batting. But our run scoring out in the middle is about engaging in battles with the bowler and being able to be more disciplined, more determined, and more decisive. And if we can win on those three fronts, we will be more successful. And I think this is where, when I'm working with players, when you work with coaches, when you guys at home work with other players, engage in battles, try and challenge yourself. Don't just settle for people to train and just get underarm feeds, or get people to give you throwdowns on your pads or half volleys. Because ultimately, when you walk out to the middle, you won't get half volleys every ball. You won't get someone running out bowling, especially if you want to challenge yourself at a higher level. Engage in those battles and set yourself a field in your mind. Visualise yourself batting against the bowler in a game. Because ultimately, we need to start to learn as batsmen, especially in power play one, when the ball's got a bit more on it and you're normally facing the opposition's best bowlers. You're more likely to get that unbelievable ball. That's the time when we need to train ourselves to be able to understand how to score runs and train ourselves on scoring. So many times, and you will experience this as well, you can make your life harder for yourself as batters because you want to do too much. Don't be afraid to admit there's an area where you're not the strongest. As long as you have an answer for something and it's not something that's easily repeatable for someone to bowl at you. For example, if you struggle with slightly back of the length on the offside, and you haven't got a back foot punch as a run scoring option or a boundary option, find a way of getting one off that length ball. Does it mean come across, covering your stumps, nice solid position and running the ball into a gap? Okay, that is about building innings and scoring runs. It's having an answer for every ball. And sometimes you're in a better position, you let that really good ball go, nod back to the bowler and say, well bowled mate, didn't get me out. Or if you play and miss, you don't then think next ball, I'm going to make up for that by hitting an attacking shot, because that's exactly what the bowler's going to expect. Just nod your head, well bowled. You might get a spray in from behind the stumps, you might get someone giving you a bit of jip, but it happens. Just switch off, walk to the side or whatever you need to do, bang, I'm off, and I'm back on again. And I'm going to just think next ball, I'm going to make a good decision. Doesn't have to be attacking, I'm going to make a good decision. And ultimately, this is how we set ourselves up to score big runs. It's about training this, learning that run scoring is different to batting. It's a different skill. And until we learn to train that element of our game and we learn how to set ourselves for big runs and we learn how to be able to switch on off between balls and ultimately we stick to the basic criteria of, am I in strong positions? Have I made good decisions? And we control those controllables, we'll be absolutely fine. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We have set ourselves up an online academy where if you would like to send clips of yourself playing and you'd like us to feedback, it'd be a similar sort of format to this. We'll send you a video of ourselves reacting to the footage and we'll talk through what sort of things we can help you with to improve, as well as sending you written feedback. Then head over to our Instagram. We've got links to that there and I'll put a link to the description to our online coaching. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you could like, share and subscribe, that'd be fantastic. Please leave your thoughts in the comments below. We love to engage with you. And again, one of the things for us as an academy and us as coaches is we're not always right on everything. And we'd more than happily engage in debates with people who maybe have alternative views to what we're saying. So leave your thoughts in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching and I shall see you in the next video. Take care, guys.